Our platform diving begins with Callie Head from Iowa with her first dive, a forward 2.5 somersault pike. She'll do it from the 7 meter.
And she should finish this dive very easy. It's a good start dive for her. She goes in the water a little splashy, but it's a good dive to get her into the competition and get the ball rolling.
Is that a big key as we see Addison Walkowick from Rutgers putting together the dive list is probably just as important as performing the dives, right?
Yeah, you want to start your competition off with a good and steady and stable dive. You don't want to, start the competition with a harder dive. If you mess it up, it can really mess with your mentality for the rest of the competition. So Addie did a 203B here, which is a back 1.5 somersaults pike. She goes a little short on it. It's a little lower degree of difficulty, so she will not be rewarded the big scores we will see from the bigger divers.
Here is Laura Tarvett from Ohio State.
She is starting off with a 405B. She will be spinning into the platform 2.5 times. She's hoping to start her competition off great. And she does. She goes in the water. This is a great entry by her. You can see she makes this dive look very easy. This should get some pretty good scores. It's a great way to start a competition.
8s across the board, an award of 67 points.
That is anytime you see a score above 7.5, 8, it was a very great dive.
Brings us to the freshman, Olivia Rosendahl from Northwestern. So Rosendahl already finished second.
Here she starts off with a back 2.5 with 1.5 somersaults in the pike position. This is a dive that a lot of the girls will be doing. She finishes the water. She finishes a little short of vertical, but because of the degree of difficulty, she gets the same scores as Laura did, because her dive was lower degree of difficulty.
So 67 points, and here's Shelly Show. She's outstanding on both the springboards, but she's very good as well on the platform.
Yeah, when she was training in Beijing, her main event was platform, so she is no stranger to the platform. And you can see on this dive, she goes in the water beautifully. She'll be very happy with this competition. Her and her coach will be very happy with starting this final just like this. She gets 9s on this dive for 81 points, and that takes her right into the lead over Olivia Rosenthal and Laura in second place.
It's a big first dive, and she has built a big lead. Is at a degree of difficulty of 3.0. This is Emily Meany from Purdue. Degree of difficulty on this dive, 3.2. This is a difficult dive.
Yes, this is a harder dive. She'll be doing a arm stand back double with 1.5 twist. And there'll be a lot going on in this dive, but she should finish it pretty well. Usually divers put one of their most consistent dives first, so
the fans here in the Boilermaker Aquatic Center loved it.
Yeah, and I'm sure she did too.
It's a 9s and 8.5s, 81.6 points, so she is in the lead by a 0.5 point.
Yeah, she goes up above Shelly, getting the same score.
Brings up Lexi Tenenbaum, the senior from Maple Grove, Minnesota. She was 35th at the National Championships on platform.
And this is a good dive. This is her last Big Ten. She's a senior, and this is her last Big Ten final. She loves the platform. She loves being up there. This 107B, which is front 3.5 somersaults pike, went a little bit over. She didn't really extend through the water, and that's why she didn't get those 8s and those 9s that Shelly got in her dive.
Our first look at the NCAA champion on platform as a freshman. Last year, she elected to take an Olympic redshirt year to train for Rio 2016.
she does a front 3.5 somersault pike. A lot of girls start with this dive. You can see she's a very beautiful diver, and she folds her body in half when she's doing her somersault, and that's why she makes this dive look the way it does. It makes it look very easy, and she is here to play today.
79.5 points, the award for Jessica Parado. But it's Purdue's Emily Meany in the lead after the first round of diving.
We've already seen some great dives and some high scores in this final already.
Here's Callie Head's second dive, a reverse 2.5 somersault.
It was a good dive. It was low splashy. She went in the water a little loose, so that is why all that kind of foamy splash came up. She'll be happy with it. It wasn't a big miss, but she could have done it a little better than that. 58 will keep her in contention.
Madison Walkowick from Rutgers, just 43, her first round dive.
This is an easier dive. She doesn't train platform a lot, so she's very thrilled to be in this final tonight.
In contention after the first round, Laura Tarvett. She's a freshman from Melbourne, Australia. She's just a point behind after her first round dive.
She is no stranger to high pressure competition. She was on the national Australian team, and this 205B is a key dive for her list. She goes a little over on it, and that's why you see that big splash. What she needs to do is she needs to get her legs out a little bit more on that come out so she can really stretch for the water. She kind of kept it moving, that's why she went over it. You can see that arch in her back before she goes in the water.
Northwestern freshman Olivia Rosendahl with her second dive, an arm stand back, 2 somersault, 1.5 twist. What is it like when you do an arm stand from 10 meters up?
It's not easy, I'll tell you that. It takes a lot of training because you have to hold the position for about 3 seconds. If you hold it any less, the judges can take points off. So holding it and showing a steady line on the platform is what the judges would like to see. And Olivia does that spectacularly. This dive was absolutely amazing. She held the handstand, and she went in the water with virtually no splash. So the scores will be very high in this dive.
Big dive there. 81.6 points. That's the most we've seen a diver amass on a dive so far on the platform tonight. Shelley Zhou was just a half a point off the lead with her second dive and inward 2.5 somersault.
Shelley previously has been doing a 407, but she has been having struggles with it, so she's elected to change her dive to 405B off the 7 meter. She missed it earlier in prelims, so she has been really focusing on this dive and putting it down. But she can still get good scores on this dive. She got straight 7.5s on this dive, and she should be happy with that. We'll have to see what Jess Parado does and what the other divers do to get in front of her.
Emily Meany, the leader. First round dive of 81.6 points. Another big degree of difficulty of 3.0 here.
Wow. And you can really see one of her strong points is she just folds her body in half in the somersault. You can see on the replay there's no space between her and her thighs. It is an absolutely beautiful pike.
72 points.
It's a very good score. It's a very good score. I thought she went a little bit over, but the judges seemed to like it, and I'm sure Emily liked it as well. Lexi is doing a 407C, an inward 3.5 somersault in the tuck position. This is a higher degree of difficulty dive, and she's looking to put it down so she can get some high scores on this. This is a good dive. It was a very good dive. She looks like she missed her hands on the entry. This is a little splashy going in, but she'll be happy with that one.
68 points.
68 is a good score. Now we have Jess Parado doing the same dive, and it'll be interesting to see the comparison between the last diver, Lexi Tannenbaum, and the Olympian. He's good.
Welcome back to the Boilermaker Aquatic Center for the Big Ten Swimming and Diving Championships. Time now to turn our attention to the platform. Manny Pollard was the runner-up a season ago on this event after 19 events. Michigan in the lead, Indiana, Wisconsin battling it out for second. And we get a chance now to see Shelly Zhou on the platform, who won the 1 meter and 3 meter, and Jessica Parado, who was an Olympian in synchronized platform at the Rio Olympics. Kelly Head will begin round 3 with a back 2.5 somersault. Degree of difficulty on this dive, 2.9.
Now, backs and reverses are key dives on the platform. What she'll want to do is she'll want a strong takeoff, and she'll want a nice come out. She'll want to spot the water, and what I mean by that is when you're somersaulting, you can see your surroundings. So she would want to spot correctly so she can come out the right time and go in the water vertically. And she goes in a little bit over on this dive. It was not a big miss, but she'll be happy with it.
Hawkeye with a score of 58 points. Obviously, the degree of difficulty plays a big role in that final score.
Yeah, so every dive has its own degree of difficulty. And what you do is you take, out of the 7 judges, you take the 2 highest and the 2 lowest, and you cut them out. And the 3 middle scores you have, you add them together, you times it by the degree of difficulty, and that is how you get the final score.
Addison Walkowick with her 3rd round dive. And we're 2.5 somersault.
She cut back a little bit on the platform. You can see her distance from the platform. The judges like to see a strong takeoff and a strong jump off the platform. So you can see her kind of fade away, and that's why she only got 7.5. I think she could have got 8s on that. She was a little bit more aggressive on that takeoff.
Laura Tarvin from Ohio State, freshman from Melbourne, Australia, entered the 3rd round 6th. She's going to do an arm stand back, 2 somersaults, 1.5 twists. What's it like doing a arm stand from 10 meters up?
It takes a lot of training and a lot of focus. There's been a lot of training going into this dive, and if you balk on this, then there will be a balk is what we call attempting a dive but not finishing it. So it happens a lot on arm stand dives because the stability is not always there. So if she moved her hands or kind of came back down, she would lose 2 points from every judge. But she does not do this. She holds the handstand, and that is why she should get good scores on this. She goes a little bit over, but it was not a big disaster. 59.4 award for her. That is a good score to keep her in contention.
It's been a great week for Northwestern's Olivia Rosendahl, just a freshman, but she has put together quite a competition. Rosendahl comes in 3rd going into this 3rd round. It's a big dive for her with a 3.2 degree of difficulty.
And I've seen her absolutely nail this dive. She has the capability of completing this dive for 10, so we'll see what she does here.
Highest score ever on this dive at 80. It's a big number.
Yes, it is. And this is very good. I'm not sure if she'll get 80, but she'll definitely be very, very happy with that one.
The Wildcat faithful liked it.
We'll see what the judges.
Again, with a 3.2 degree of difficulty, you can get a big number. She's going to get 76.8 points.
Yes, 76.8 points is a lot of points in this final. And if she can do that for 2 more rounds, she'll definitely be up in the top 3.
Well, we've seen Shelly Zhou with some impressive diving. She's already won the 1 meter. She's won the 3 meter at this competition. She comes in 4th, going into round 3 of 5. It's another big dive for her, 3.2 degree of difficulty.
And last year she won this event, so she'll be looking to win this again. She needs a good dive here. She's doing an arm stand And as I was talking before, you need to hold the arm stand for about 3 seconds before taking off so you can show the judges good stability. She goes a little short on this dive. You can see she kind of goes in the water at a kind of a strange angle. It's not all the way vertical. So,
but you can see it in the score, 67 points, 6.5 sevens.
Yeah, that was a very good score, but she could have done a lot better if she piked down a little bit harder on the end of that.
Emily Meany from Purdue, she was the leader after round 1.
Here she is doing a 205B, which is a back 2.5 somersaults pike from 7 meter, which is a degree difficulty of 3.0. She needs 72 points for the lead, which is straight 8s. I don't think she'll get the straight 8s, but it will definitely help her stay close to Zhou Yu.
Meany's score, 58.5 points. A couple of 5.5s, a couple of 6.5s.
Yeah, 5.5 and 6.5 usually means the dive was satisfactory. It wasn't a spectacular dive, it was not a disaster, so 6.5 is a very good score still.
Minnesota's Lexi Tenenbaum, been consistent, 67.5 on her first dive, 68 on her second dive.
She goes a little short of vertical too, and what I mean by that is her legs kind of go in the water. Her legs kind of go in the water at a weird angle that I was talking about before. It's not vertical, it's just a little less than vertical. The judges gave her 6.5 points tonight. She gets 55.10. In the prelim this morning, she nailed this dive, and it helped her qualify for this final tonight. This is her last Big Tens, and I know she's looking for a good performance.
Our first look at Jessica Parado, national champion on platform as a freshman, winning the event by nearly 30 points. Last year, she elected to take an Olympic red shirt, competed in Rio on the synchronized platform dive. She needs 72.5 points to move in front of Olivia Rosendahl of Northwestern and into first place.
Now she is doing the hardest dive in this competition. It has a degree of difficulty of a 3.6, a back 3.5 somersault pike. And she does it very well. She adds a full somersault from the last diver, Lexi Tenenbaum. She didn't get her hands on it, but she'll get high scores on this, a 3.6 degree of difficulty. Most of the girls' highest degree of difficulty would be a 3.2. So she gets 7.5 on this dive and still gets 81 points.
A big dive for the Indiana Hoosier, Jessica Parado. She's in the lead as we head to round 4 of the platform competition. Final 2 rounds of the women's platform. Jessica Parado from Indiana leads with 234 points. The freshman from Northwestern, Olivia Rosendahl, just behind her at 225 points. Callie Head will begin round 4 from Iowa.
Wow. She begins round 4 with a great dive. She lost her feet a little bit going into the water, but she'll be happy with that entry. She's also a senior, and she's also looking to do well tonight.
58 points.
She's also been really consistent. She's been in the higher 50s on all her dives so far. And consistency is good. It's the name of the game in this sport.
Second to last dive for Addison Walkowick from the 7 meter. And the divers can choose the 5, the 7, or the 10 meter for their dives.
Yes, and actually in the Olympic Games, you can only compete on the 10 meter, but because not every university has a full platform set, some may have a 5 and a 7, but not a 10 meter, all the divers are allowed to choose which platform they go on.
Points for Walkowick.
Lara here is doing a back 2.5 with 1.5 somersaults. She is having a good competition so far. What she needs to go into the lead is a 55 pointer. Should be very easy. With the degree of difficulty that this dive has, it is at a 3.2. So to get 55 points in this would probably be about 6.5. So she'll obviously want to do the dive better than that, but she doesn't need much to go into the lead. She does it very well. She goes a little bit over. The splash was a little big for her. I think she needs a little more jump on her takeoff. It looked like she kind of just jumped down to get the somersault going. If she got a little more jump, she would get a little more time to prepare for her entry on the come out. You can see right there, there's not enough time to get her arms all the way through.
She gets the 64 points to move into the lead, but plenty of big divers still to come, including Olivia Rosendahl, just a freshman. It's a big dive for 2.9 degree of difficulty, separated by about 10 points with 2 dives remaining from Olympian Jessica Parado.
Yeah, and just doing a back 3.5 somersaults pike in the last round was spectacular. You can see Olivia doing a back 2.5 somersaults pike, and she does it very well too. This has a degree difficulty of a 2.9 versus the degree difficulty that Jess did in the last round of a 3.6. So Olivia needed a big dive to match the score that Jess got in her last dive. She gets it. She gets straight 8s on this dive for 71.05 points. She'll be very happy with that.
Big Ten champion on 1 meter and 3 meter, now going from the 5 meter here, but this is still a big dive because the degree of difficulty is 3.0.
Yes, so what she'll be doing is she'll be spinning backwards 2.5 times in the tuck position. This is a very hard dive. It's usually a lead up for a back 3.5 somersaults in the 10 meter, but because she's struggled with injuries in the past, she's decided to do it on the 5 meter instead. And you can see why she did it, because she did this dive beautifully. She got 8s and 1.9 for 76.50, and she is still in second behind Olivia Rosenthal.
Purdue's Emily Meany got off to a great start. She's been in contention. This is her most difficult dive. She's got this 407C and a 52.53B. Both carry a 3.2, but she's got a rebound because she scored only 58 points on her last dive.
And for her to go into first place, she needs a 85 pointer here. Now this is not impossible. What she would need is straight 9s on this to get that score. And what she needs to do is she needs a strong takeoff, she needs a strong jump, a tight tuck, and a beautiful entry. That is what the judges would like to see. And this is very good. I don't think she'll get 85 points, but it will definitely get her up there. It should be about 76, I would say.
Well, Meany was 3rd entering this round, so even just a solid dive can keep her in the top 3. She's going to score 72 points.
Yeah, it was a very good dive for her. Should definitely be happy with that one going into the last round.
Up 7th, Lexi Tenenbaum from Minnesota. 3.2 degree of difficulty, again starting with an arm stand.
She'll be looking to hold this handstand. She needs to hold it for 3 seconds to show control. Good dive. She goes in a little short. She'll be happy with that one. That dive makes a lot of divers very nervous because you have to hold the handstand, and being in a competition can be a little nerve-wracking. So holding the handstand could be just as nerve-wracking. And so she has no problem with this today. She goes in the water. It's a little short of the vertical, but she'll definitely be happy with that one.
Here's Jessica Parado, the leader. As a freshman, she set a Big Ten record, winning the platform 424.45 points. This is her biggest dive, degree of difficulty 3.3.
Yeah, she's doing a 626, which is a arm stand back triple somersault. She is the only girl in this competition doing this dive. She needed 63 points to go into the lead. She goes in the water a little short of vertical of this one. She didn't really get that great entry, is what she was looking for, but it might just be enough to keep her in the lead.
69 points. She is in the lead.
Now, sevens is a very good score, but for her, I know that her expectations are a little higher, being a 2016 Olympian.
So it's going to be tight headed into the final round. Jessica Parada with 303 points in front of Olivia Rosendahl of Northwestern. And Callie Head is going to begin the fifth and final round of diving from the 10 meter with a back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist.
Callie is looking to finish her Big Ten career on a high note here. I know she loves this dive, and she would love to put it down right here, right now. And she does. You can see that was a great entry, almost no splash on that. She had a little twist going in the water, but she'll be happy with how she finished her Big Ten career. It's her last Big Ten dive, and it's definitely a good one to end on.
65 points. She finishes with 292 points.
Here we have Addie Walkaway. She is originally from my old club team in New York, so we did not have a lot of platform experience, so this is why her dives have a lot of lower degree of difficulty. She ends her list on a 614, which is a front double somersault pike. She goes a little short, but she's not a tower specialist, so she'll be happy with how her competition went tonight.
Walkaway gets an award 46.8 points, finishes with 260 points.
And she still has one more year. She's just a junior, so she'll be back next year.
Laura Tarvett getting set for her final dive and it entered this final round in 6th place. Originally dived from the 5 meter, but she's moved up to the 10 meter. So maybe adjusted her dive here for the final round.
She wanted that more degree of difficulty. If she did it on 5, she would have a lower degree of difficulty. So she wanted to get a higher score on this. And she finishes the dive very well. She goes in the water with a nice, clean splash. She'll be happy with that. She did not complete this dive in the prelim. So this is the first time we're seeing her do it, and she does it very well.
55 points. She finishes 298 points for Laura Tarvett from Ohio State.
And being a freshman, she had a very good Big Ten. She'll be back in the next few years.
But the freshman Olivia Rosendahl, she is within 7 points of Olympian Jessica Parado, and she gets set for her final dive. Probably the biggest difference between those two is the degree of difficulty. The freshman from Northwestern, her degree of difficulty on this dive just 2.8.
Now she and Jessica Parado have about a 6-point gap. So Olivia needs to do this dive very well to get in front of her, especially because her degree of difficulty is a little lower than Jess's. She does the dive very well, but it will put the pressure on Jess. But Jess, I know, does her last dive very well, so she'll be looking to take home another championship here. Olivia gets 9s on this dive at a 71.40. She gets an overall score of a 368, which is a very good score for women's platform. Anytime you're in above 350 in women's platform, you had a very good list.
Might be your second place finish. Barring a miss by Jessica Parado, will be last to go. Here's Shelly Zhou. She's already had an outstanding championship, winning the 1 meter and the 3 meter springboard. She's got a very difficult final dive.
Yeah, she's also doing that back twisting dive. And she does it very well. She goes in the water a little loose. You can see her legs kind of kick the splash over. She'll be happy with that. It's a good dive to end on. She should get 7.5 and 8. Yeah, she gets 76.8 points. And she is just 5 points below Olivia Rosenthal. So she's sitting in second right now with Jessica Parado still to come.
Here's Meany, who was third out until her last round dive. She needs a dive of almost 84 points to move into first, 78 points to move into second.
Now, 84 points is not impossible on this. And what she needs to do is she needs to get she needs to get 9s on this dive, and she needs a strong takeoff, and her pike should be no problem. Her pike is absolutely beautiful. She goes in the water a little bit over. I don't think she'll get the 9s to get the 85 points, but she should be enough to get her. Oh. And so she's in third right now with Jessica Parado and Lexi Tenenbaum still to come.
75 points, the award on this dive. Second to last diver, Lexi Tenenbaum, finishing with a degree of difficulty of 3.2.
Now, a lot of the girls are doing the same dive, so it's good to see the comparison. We'll see how Lexi does it compared to Emily. So. Lexi does it very well. This is a very good dive, and this being her last Big Ten, she'll be very happy with how she competed tonight.
73.5 points, the award for Lexi Tenenbaum.
And now we have Jessica Parado. She only needs 65 points to go into the lead. And I know Jess will be looking to really end her list on a good note here.
Same dive as Tenenbaum. How does that affect you when the judges just saw the dive before?
Well, the judges know diving very well. They know that what this dive needs to look good. So they know that Jessica Parado can do this dive for the 10s that we know that she can do. So we hope she can do it here right now. Very good dive to end on. Very good dive. She'll take home the championship. She'll be very happy that she can get her second Big Ten gold in women's platform.
Finishing with 75 points, Jessica Parado takes a year off and defends her Big Ten title on platform, finishing with 378 points.
378 points is a good score. And this is a good score that can compete with a lot of the best divers in the world, as to be expected from the 2016 Olympian.
All smiles. Jessica Parado took a year off to train for Rio. She comes back and doesn't miss a beat. She's the Big Ten champion once again. And she'll have a chance to defend her NCAA title in a month.
Yeah, we'll be looking to see her later on in March.
Again, set for our final event in the pool, 400 freestyle relay. What a performance on platform by Jessica Parado. She's with Gabriella.
Now you took that year off to prepare for the Olympics. You came back, didn't miss a beat, Big Ten champion again. How does it feel?
It's crazy right now. I'm just excited to get a new dive in there. Really big DDs, so that was awesome to get vertical. So I'm just really excited, and I'm happy to score points for my team.
Exactly what you did tonight, adding points to that team score. How does it feel to give something back to them here tonight?
Really good. I know my team is swimming their hearts out, and I couldn't be more proud of them, so it's just really exciting.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Jessica Parado, Big Ten champion on platform.